show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Bass in your face. Bass in your face.
Good evening, everybody. I hope you can hear me. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Now, for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with the channel or watching this channel for the first time, the reason why it's called Uncommon Sense because here on this platform we discuss everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions, but not everyone uses logic. So for that reason, it is called Uncommon Sense. I also have a smaller channel called Latina Diaspora where I discuss issues regarding Latinos in the United States. The link to that channel is in the description. I want to let everybody know that I'm currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Also, the subscriber mode has been enabled for the first 5 minutes, meaning if you're not a subscriber and if you wish to enter a comment in the chat, you will need to be a subscriber for at least 5 minutes. As always, I want to give a huge shout out to all those who have already subscribed to the channel. Whether you've been a supporter from the very beginning or just recently joined, I really appreciate your love and your continued support. Also, want to give a huge shout out to all those who follow me on social media, as well as those who allow me to enter into your devices and those who watch from the clouds, even the haters. So, what I'm going to ask if you have not done so, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe, like, and set the bell notifications to all. So, therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have the opportunity to catch it live or catch it on the playback. As you can see by the thumbnail, tonight's discussion is dealing with a difficult coworker. Those of us who work, there have been times when we had to deal with that difficult coworker that for whatever reason we are not able to get along. The person's toxic, person's rude. So I'm going to be talking about how to deal with that difficult coworker. It does not mean um, break bread with that person. It does not mean to have a warm, cuddly feelings. It does that what I'm going to be discussing how to deal with the person in a professional way. Now, before we get into the main topic, we're going to have another episode of In My Words. Now, Barack Obama had caused some controversy regarding his statements. Among the statements he made, that he stated that boys should have a gay mentor, and the reason behind that is that by having a gay mentor, they will have a deeper understanding when it comes to dealing with gay men and members of the LGBTQ community. And of course, many people are upset about what is remarks. I understand the meaning behind it. I disagree. Okay. Really, I think the best role models should be the parents. Okay. Of course, let's assume that the children are being raised in a two-parent household. Now, what the parents should do is teach their children that they're going to be dealing with people who have different philosophies, different ways of thinking, okay, different values. And then they should be taught that they should respect everybody, regardless of their values, regardless of their beliefs, okay? If I ever had children, uh, I would teach them to be respectful regarding everyone and to let them know that they're going to come across people who have different views and different philosophies because their parent or sole parental figure has decided to bring it up on different values, and that they should be taught respect regarding everybody as far as what they view, how they view things, what their social mores, how they should view things as it comes to religion and things of that nature. That is, I think, is more appropriate. Now, it was announced today that Ozzy Osbourne, who was at one time, I think he was the lead singer for Black Sabbath, passed away today at age 76. Now, it has not been reported what was the cause of death. However, it was reported that he was suffering uh, from Parkinson's disease, which is, I believe, is a muscular disease that, as a result, you cannot control your movements with your hands and arms and things of that nature. So I just want to offer my condolences to his families and friends um, towards his passing. He was very well known as far as uh, heavy metal in the 80s. And of course, he lived more or less what's considered a relatively normal lifespan. Most of us, if we take good care of ourselves, so my thoughts and prayers are to his family in regards to his passing. Now, next week's schedule is going to be a little different. It's going to be a shorter week as far as streams is concerned. Um, I will do a live on Sunday, Monday, uh, Tuesday. I don't know, and after that, I probably won't do anything, create any content other than shorts until the following week because I'm going to be in Atlanta. And when you're sharing your room with a roommate, it could be a challenge to try to do live streaming. Okay, particularly when he insists on having the TV on. So the majority of next week, I'll probably add like a bunch of shorts. But as far as content, Sunday and Monday. Tuesday we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see. And with that being said, we're going to get into the main topic. Now, let me just state for the record that the link to join the panel has been pinned. Should anyone wishes to hit that link and join the panel and opine regarding the topic in hand, they can do so. Let me make this perfectly clear. If I have never seen you before, if I never heard from you before, I will insist that you come up in the backstage to make sure that no one tries to flash anything inappropriate, which would cause the people of YouTube to take down their string. Once I've seen that you're not gonna do anything like that, and you've been properly vetted, I will allow you access to the panel. Now, whether or not you wish to cam up or not cam up, that I leave up to you. Okay. I know some content creators insist that their guests cam up. Me, once I know that you're okay, I leave that up to you. And and again, let me just state for the record, again, we were not entering into target topics regarding what's happening in Israel, among the evils that the Israeli government has done, nor Hamas. Okay. So now, why I chose to discuss this topic is because of the fact that we all have to deal with difficult coworkers at sometimes. Okay. And one thing has to be understood. We don't have to like the people that we work with. Okay. What we need to do is to be cordial with the people that we work with. Now that's different. And what that means is if you have a work related question, raise it. Or if a colleague asks for your assistance, you give it and you be professional about it and courteous about it. It does not mean socializing at the job. It does not mean socializing after work. No. All it means is that you're going to be cordial. So what I'm going to do is I'm still getting used to this. Just give me a moment. So hopefully the image will load up. So I came across this article in the Washington Psychological Wellness website, and it's called Seven Tips for Dealing with Difficult Coworkers. Okay, so in today's professional world, effective communication plays a pivotal role in fostering positive relationship and achieving success in the workplace. However, at times we encounter difficult coworkers who pose challenges to effective collaboration and can hinder our productivity. Learning how to communicate with such individuals is essential to maintain a harmonious work environment and achieve collective goals. This article will explore 7 valuable tips to help you navigate and communicate effectively when dealing with difficult coworkers. And there's a video which I'm not going to play because I don't want to get hit with a copyright strike. Number one, maintain a calm and professional demeanor. And This at times can be a challenge, particularly when you have a coworker that knows how to push your buttons. When dealing with difficult coworkers, it's crucial to approach each interaction with a calm and professional demeanor. Remember that your aim is to find common ground and resolve any conflicts. Avoid responding with anger or frustration as it may escalate the situation further. Instead, maintain and compose a respectful tone which can help diffuse tension and encourage open dialogue. Now, this is something that is very important, okay? Because there might be times where, again, your coworker will try to push your buttons. Excuse me. Okay. So it is very important to maintain a calm demeanor. As it as it times going to be easy? No. But the alternative is just to meet their energy with your it's the same energy, which means it's not going to get receive any resolution. Okay, so excuse me, just give me a moment. Listen actively and empathetically. Active listening is a fundamental aspect of effective communication. When engaging with a difficult coworker, make a conscious effort to listen attentively to their concerns, perspectives, and frustrations. Empathize with them, with their point of view, even if you don't necessarily agree. By demonstrating empathy, you create a more conducive environment for resolving conflicts and finding mutual beneficial solutions. Okay, let me just see who's in. Good evening, April Showers. Thank you very much for stopping by. Uh, the topic for tonight is dealing with difficult coworkers. Choose your words wisely. The words we use can significantly impact the outcome of a conversation. Be mindful of your choice of words when communicating with difficult coworkers. Aim for clarity and diplomacy, ensuring that your message is conveyed in a non-confrontational manner. Focus on the using I statements to express your own feelings and observation rather than pointing fingers or making accusations. This approach fosters understanding and encourages constructive dialogue. Okay. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to de-escalate. Okay. And trying to speak in a way that's not judgmental, but expressing your feelings. Seek common ground and find solutions. When faced with challenging coworkers, finding common ground to build upon is essential. Identifying shared goals or interests can serve as a basis for collaboration. By heightening areas of agreement, you can redirect the focus toward finding solutions instead of dwelling on differences. The collaborative mindset can help bridge gaps and establish a more harmonious working environment. Okay. It's very important that you try to find common ground whenever it's possible. Okay. And again, make sure that you de-escalate. Don't match the negative energy with more negative energy. Set boundaries and maintain professionalism. Establishing clear boundaries is crucial when dealing with difficult coworkers. Maintain professionalism by communicating your expectations and respectfully asserting your rights. If a coworker's behavior becomes inappropriate or offensive, address the issue promptly with appropriate channels such as your supervisor or HR department. Upholding professional boundaries demonstrates your commitment to maintain a healthy work environment. Yes, this is very important. Okay. While you're not going to de escalate, okay, you're not going to condone inappropriate behavior. And sometimes you will need to speak intervention of a supervisor to help resolve any conflicts. Use nonverbal communication effectively. Communication extends beyond words. Nonverbal cues such as body language and tone of voice can significantly impact your message. For example, when engaging with difficult coworkers, pay attention to your nonverbal communication, ensuring that it aligns with your intended message. Similarly, be mindful of nonverbal cues as they provide valuable insights to their emotions and thoughts. Okay, so there's a difference between saying yes, sir, and yes, yeah. Okay, how so? So you notice the differences to two ways I say yes, sir, or yes, ma'am. Just be mindful. Practice conflict resolution techniques. Difficult coworkers often bring conflicts to the workplace, and it is essential to be equipped with conflict resolution techniques. Seek opportunities to compromise and find win-win solutions that addresses everyone's concern. Explore mediation or involve a neutral third party if necessary. By actively engaging in conflict resolution, you demonstrate your commitment to fostering a healthy and productive work environment. And the conclusion is dealing with difficult coworkers can be challenging, but practicing communication skills can help you navigate these situations successfully by maintaining a calm demeanor, effective listening, choosing your words wisely, seeking common ground, setting boundaries, using nonverbal communication effectively, and practicing conflict resolution techniques. You can build better relationships and foster a more humanist workplace. Remember, great communication skills not only benefit your professional growth, but also contribute to the overall success of your team and organization. And we're going to park it here. Okay. So, so there are some of the things that can help us when dealing with difficult coworkers is number one, maintain a calm um, environment. Remain calm, and that sometimes that could be difficult. I get it, but matching their negative energy with more negative energy, what you're doing is you're escalating the situation. So you're making a bad situation into a worse situation. So by maintaining a calm environment, um, being calm, um, express, show some empathy. You can try to resolve conflicts that way. Okay. So let's see. I think I see there was another article. Let's see. Okay. So now I'm going to share. It's going to take me a while to get used to this whole layout here in StreamYard. Okay. Let's see. I think. Just give me a moment. Let's see. Get some music. Set some. Okay. Okay. Let me just lower the background music a little bit. Okay. Let's see. I think we have some. Okay. Good evening, Castigador. I'll give you a perfect example. Right now, I'm dealing with a difficult coworker. Okay. Now, for reasons unbeknown to me, she decided not to speak with me. So basically, the few times that I have spoken with her, it's always been in the framework of a work. Like, for example, sharing information that's work related. Also informing my coworker that our supervisor wished to meet with us. So that's a perfect example. Now it takes two people to resolve a conflict. I'm wanting to resolve my conflict with my coworker. She's not. So my approach has been not to engage, not to meet with the same energy. Whenever she decides to try to have a calm conversation with me, I will listen. And then okay. There have been other times where I dealt with difficult coworkers, and basically what I said is the following. Look, we have a job to do. You may not like me. I may not like you. I get it. Nevertheless, we all have a job to do, and we need to function as a team. So we need to put our differences aside in order for us to function. Okay. And I think the key is not to meet the negative energy with more negative energy. And some difficult co-workers, believe it or not, look forward to that because they want to do because they're not happy until they create conflict. I'm not here to create conflict. I'm here to do a job. Okay. Which is dealing with social services. Now, obviously, I cannot get due to the nature to my job. I really cannot describe it any further because there is such a thing as called conduct, which covers everything and even covers social media. So that's some examples. If you need more examples at Castigador, please let me know, and hopefully that kind of explains it a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is share my screen again. Okay. And this is okay. 7 top tips for dealing with workplace conflict, and difficult coworkers. And and in my case, not only do I have to deal with difficult coworkers, I also got to deal with difficult union reps. Okay, how's with the outage? Okay, when you mean outage, are you talking about as far as outage as far as like a power failure, or outage as far as like internet problems? Um, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but if you're talking about like internet issues, we try to function as best as we can. Now, if you're talking about an outage as far as like having uh, like a shouting match or a yelling match, uh, I have been fortunate that it has not gotten to that point. Okay. Um, for the most part, I managed to maintain. Okay. Oh, internet. Yeah, that could be a problem. Particularly if you're working remotely. There's really not a lot that you can do. Just do the best you can. Work with the resources that you are able to do. Do the work that you are able to do. Okay. And usually, in my job, where there is an outage regarding internet, we will be notified via email, and our team, the IT department, will be working on it and hopefully bringing a quick resolution to internet problems. But yes, the biggest challenge dealing with internet is when you're working remotely. Okay, which in my case, I work remotely 2 days out of the week. Now let's go on to this article. Almost everyone has dealt with workplace team conflict or difficult coworkers, probably more than once in their career. These conflicts can happen for several reasons, such as differences in personalities and misunderstandings. But no matter the reason, it's essential that you know how to deal with difficult situations constructively. Okay. We don't we don't get on everyone that's completely normal and part human being. But there's a few ways of handling these sticky situations more effectively. In this article, we'll be sharing the top 7 tips for dealing with workplace conflicts and difficult coworkers. Stay calm and composed. Yes, that is very important. The first and most crucial step when dealing with any workplace conflict is that you must remain calm and composed. We're only human, and we tend to get rather emotional during these disagreements, whether it's our personal lives or our professional ones. However, you need to remember to stay calm during a workplace dispute with avoiding acting compulsively. When you react with anger, frustration, or aggression, it can escalate the situation, which in the long term will make things harder to resolve. Not only does it prevent further negative consequences, but improves your reputation and also prevents any aggression from your coworker. If you're someone who struggles to keep level headed during a disagreement, make sure you remove yourself from the situation. Okay, I'm trying to. It's just that I'm having some internet issues. I will try to speak a little bit more clearly. My apologies. But just to focus on the first thing, stay calm and composed. Do not escalate. Do not match their negative energy with more negative energy. Stay positive. Now, do I need to turn off the background music? If I do, please let me know and I will do so. In fact, you know what? Let me just give me a moment. Let me just okay. Okay. Hopefully that will make it more clearer. Good evening, Irby. Thank you very much for stopping by. So tonight, the topic is dealing with a difficult coworker. So I'm just sharing some techniques to help us to remain calm when dealing with a difficult coworker. Just to highlight, the first one is stay calm and composed. The second one is stay positive. It is equally important to stay positive during a conflict as it is to stay calm and collected. There is no denying that workplace conflicts can have a truly negative impact in our lives, including our well being. Things that trouble us in the moment are things that we can look back on a month or two later and wonder why we get so worked up for nothing. That's why staying positive during conflict is the best way to be. Whether you are a manager or a manager has a different opinion than your coworker isn't working well with the team. You must remember that at the end of the day, it's their decision. When you continue to complain about something, you're less productive and the feedback is more than likely not constructive and effective. Staying positive will help you to reduce your stress levels, thus improving the chances of an easier resolution. Let me just turn on the AC. Okay, excuse me. Just give me a moment. Okay. So hopefully with the background music off, that'll make it easier for me to be understood. Okay, just give me a moment. Okay. Number three, communicate effectively. In the workplace, when effective communication is key. It's even more important when dealing with workplace conflicts when you need to be clear and concise in your communication efforts. You need to make sure not only communicate well, but also actively listen to the other person's opinion and perspective. Don't interrupt them if a different opinion than yours, and always try to find a common ground when possible. Okay. Basically, just speak what on your mind, but speak what's on your mind in a calm, in a calm way. Find a mentor. Mentors are a great way not only to help you to deal with things such as career development, but also come in handy with workplace conflicts. Whether the organization has its own mentoring program in place or you find your own mentor, there's someone you want to have on your side. Mentors are someone that'll help you on your career journey through the ups and downs. Chances are they are probably dealt with similar situations in their career and knowing how to act, how you can handle it. A great mentor is there to offer you advice and to teach you skills you need to go forward. Finding a mentor doesn't need to be hard. With platforms such, well, most likely it's going to be a supervisor. Okay, because the supervisor is able to see things more clearly in an objective way, in a non-judgmental way, and their goal is basically conflict resolution and make sure that the work gets done. Okay. Avoid workplace gossip. Okay. Always avoid workplace gossip. There's no denying that gossip is the fuel to the fire and one of the factors that contribute to a highly toxic and negative working culture. Even if you to a solution or the issue is ongoing, it's best to keep the details between those involved. When you involve other colleagues into the situation, you can have negative consequences. Gossip can lead to insecurities, self esteem issues, and hurt feelings of your colleagues. If the other individual involved catches wind of the gossip, it can ruin your chances for a resolution altogether. If you're partaking in outside gossip, then you're giving yourself a bad reputation and showing others that they can't trust you. There's always going to be gossip. Okay. The best thing, not to get involved. And if people try to get you involved in opposite gossip, to simply say, I'm not interested. Thank you very much, but no. Now the next thing, it's not it can be hard at times, but sometimes we have to do this. Be the better person. A simple but effective method to resolve workplace conflict is just be the better person, even if your coworkers are acting completely unprofessionally. You need to always act with professionals. Some people can be reasoned with, and there's nothing you can change. Often, despite careful and considerable conversation, coworkers remain challenging, and there's nothing you can do. When you continue to treat people with kindness and respect, you're showing maturity in a situation. Unless the behavior isn't impacting on your work life, rise above the issue and stay positive in your interactions. Getting back to my coworker, she has not spoken to me in several months. I am not going to speculate on the why. I'm not going to speculate on the why. I'm not going to get involved in any office gossip. Office gossip. I'm just going to let that person be. When the person's ready to talk, I'll listen. Otherwise, I'm not even going to try to engage. Okay, other than it's necessary to get the work done. Know when to escalate. As discussed, sometimes you just can't negotiate with coworkers and problems cannot be settled. In these cases, you need to know when to escalate. If you've done everything you can to resolve the issue and another employee is making you uncomfortable, it begins to create a hostile work environment, then you need to involve a manager or a member of your HR department, whether it's through making a formal complaint or simply just reporting the problem. Keep evidence and avoid exaggerating or embellishing the situation. Now, this is in the case where you would try everything conceivable to try to resolve conflicts with your coworker, and your coworkers is creating a hostile work environment. Then, in that case, you need to let your supervisor know, and you may need to let HR know because there are um, a code of conduct. Like, okay, it's for look, some people will try. Okay, some people will try to get you to match their energy. Um, it's never a good thing. Okay, what you're just doing is you're just enabling their behavior to continue. Not everyone will try to resolve conflicts, and you will see it. However, you have to make sure that you maintain your level of professionalism. Okay. If the other person wish to act in an unprofessional way while you're acting in a professional manner, that's fine because what that does, that creates a reputation that you are a professional and that you try to resolve conflicts. And by the other person creating a hostile work environment, they're creating a negative reputation. And you know the saying, give a person enough rope, they'll hang themselves. Now, final thoughts. Workplace conflicts are a natural occurrence, but as you can see throughout this article, it doesn't need to be as hard to resolve as it seems. While resolving issues isn't always the easiest things to do, is in the best interest of your coworkers and those around you. Unresolved conflicts can lead to negative workplace, impacting things such as productivity and workplace well-being. And we're gonna plug it here. Okay, so let me just. I mean, look, one thing that we all have to bear in mind that in the work environment, we're going to be dealing with different types of people. And to be perfectly honest, we don't know what they're going through. Okay. We don't know if they're going through any personal tragedy, if they're going through a crisis, or whatever. It is not my place to try to figure out what they're going through. Okay. Um, it is my place to try to be cordial with the people that I work with and to follow the instructions given by my chain of command. That is my function. Now, with any large organization, there are resources available um, to help employees to deal with any personal conflicts. There's EAP, okay, which is a program where if an employee feels overwhelmed or they're dealing with some personal issues, um, they can seek therapy um, or seek, the presence of a mental health person to help them to address whatever issues, okay, um, that they have that might affect their work environment. Now the good thing where I work, that if you're open and you have a private conversation with your supervisor and and you explain to them that you're going through some personal issues or things of that nature, um, more likely your supervisor is going to encourage you to seek um, a mental health person to deal with those issues. Okay, and we'll keep it confidential. Okay, which is a more effective way. Now the problem is some of us are full of pride, and we have some of us have a problem acknowledging that we need assistance. Some of us have a problem admitting that we need a mental health person, whether because of pride, whether because of shame, whether because they were taught that whatever issues they got to resolve them by themselves. So that could be an issue. To be perfectly honest, I think it's more of an issue with people of my generation because we were not encouraged um, to seek help by a mental health expert. We was just basically taught us to snap out of there, you know, don't get crazy and things of that nature. So I'm glad that we're living in an age where people are encouraged to seek mental health help of a mental health issue to deal with those issues. Because with some people, bad habits can take a long time to die. Okay, particularly if you was taught that seeking a mental health person was a sign of weakness. No, seeking a mental health person is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength, and I'm going to explain to you why. Because that means that you have enough awareness that you realize that you have an issue and that you need help. Half the battle is to acknowledge you have a problem. Once you have a problem, once you acknowledge that, and you're at the point when that you are open to seek assistance, that's half the battle. Because after that point, you are going to be more receptive. Seeking a mental health person, you're going to be more receptive as far as seeking ways to deal with your issues. Now, the fact of the matter is, we all will have difficult coworkers to deal with at one point or another. Sometimes, sometimes you may know why. Other times you may not. What you can do is try to be the adult in the room. Try to make sure that you maintain calm. You don't match the energy with more negative energy because then you just escalate the situation. Now there will be times where you may have to seek the intervention of a supervisor or manager or HR person when they are creating a hostile work environment. Okay. And I suspect that with any large organization, um, they're gonna have something called a code to conduct, which means how you are expected to to act when it comes to either dealing with the public, if you have a position that deals with the public, or dealing with coworkers, or dealing with supervisors and other people up your chain of command, which will consist of your immediate supervisor, higher level supervision, and managers or department heads. So I have been talking um, for almost an hour. Should anyone wishes to hit that link and opine regarding the topic? Okay. Now here's an interesting question. Who are more difficult to read or with, men or women? Um, hmm, um, that's kind of a difficult question. Okay, because in all fairness, men and women think differently. Now, I have had difficult coworkers who were male and difficult coworkers who were female. So I'm not going to say that female coworkers are more difficult or male coworkers are more. I'm not going to say that. What I will say is that I have had difficult coworkers to deal with of both sexes. So that's about the best way that I can answer that question. Okay. And basically, this what I discuss it's going to be applicable whether the difficult coworker is male or female. So I wouldn't say one sex is more difficult than others. Okay, because generally, I don't like to paint everyone in the same brush. So that's about the best way I can answer your question, Castigador. But like I said, if anyone hits the link, they can do so. Um, if you have any questions, I other questions, I will do my best to come. I will do my best to answer them. Now, if it's something that I truly don't know, I'm not going to speculate. Um, because I believe in being transparent. Yeah. You know what? Okay. Oh, excuse me. Just, yeah. You know what? I know that many women have had difficult dealing with female coworkers. I get it. Okay. But I don't want to make it a sexist thing. I rather look at it as a behavior thing. So that's why I'm not saying that women coworkers are tend to be more difficult or male coworkers because I'm looking at it as a behavior type of thing. Okay. Maybe it does not address it does not address your question correctly, but that's my observation. Okay, so if there's any other questions, by all means, hit it and enter in the chat. I'll do my best to comply. Um, again, if it's something that I cannot respond, I'm going to be transparent and state so, because I'm not going to make up stuff. Those of you who have known me, and actually, it's going to be next month. It's going to be 4 years that I've been a content creator. Those who know me know I'm not going to speculate. I'm not going to make up stuff. If I don't know it, I don't know it. Mhm. There is no shame. There is no shame to admit it. That when you don't know something, okay, it's called maturity. And the fact of the matter is, we do have to understand mature way. So, are there any other questions? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay. And another thing, when dealing with difficult coworkers, it will require patience because the easiest thing to do is to match your energy with their energy. You're not going to resolve conflicts that way. And actually, you can get the reputation of being a difficult coworker. Okay. Is it fair? No. But that's the reality it is because we're dealing, we're basing everything on perspective. So while while you might be tempted to match their negative energy with more negative energy, you're not going to resolve issues that way. So hopefully, um, I've given you some things to think about when dealing with difficult co-workers. Okay. Um, the next time I'm going to be live will be on my other channel Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I'm going to be talking about famous Latino baseball players like Juan Marshall, uh, Roberto Clemente, and other people like that. Okay. Now, after that, I will not be producing any lives on my other channel for about 2 weeks, just to do a little self-reflection. I'll probably put on shorts, and of course, Friday I will have my normal um, open discussion where I will share my views regarding several topics. And of course, the audience will have an opportunity to opine. Also, if the audience have anything they want me to discuss, yeah, thank you, thank you. Look, when you're dealing with problems with the internet, and I'm fortunate because in my job, they know that there's going to be issues where the internet is going to be crappy, and all they ask you to do is do the best you can. Okay. Because complaining about the internet is not going to make the problem go away. Okay. And so basically, a perfect example is the Serenity Prayer. Um, help me to control the things I'm able to control. Help me to deal with the things I cannot control, and help me to discern what are the difference. Okay. So when you're dealing with crappy internet, there's only so much you can do, particularly if you're working remotely. Okay. And you just have to learn to be patient. Okay. Because complaining about the internet is not going to change. It's not going to help your situation in any way, shape, or form. Not being that no one is going to join me on the panel, and I don't see any other questions. I'm going to take as a cue is to stop to wrap this up. So, what is my final thoughts when it comes to conflict resolution? It's not easy, but the key is to remain calm. Do not match their negative energy with more negative energy. Um, focus on trying to reach a consensus if possible. And if your coworker is creating a hostile work environment, just make sure that you speak with your immediate superior and have boundaries and make sure that your coworker does not cross those boundaries. Okay. So as always, the playback gang, do your own thing. You're more than welcome to share whatever, to share the stream and enter whatever comments. All I ask people is to keep it respectable. We can disagree, yes, but let's be respectable and agreeable when we disagree. So with that being said, I'm going to close the same way that I always close. We must do everything possible to avoid the presence of the mentally and intellectually challenged, because if we fail to do so, we'll be infected with the stupidity and massive insanity. Let me just check and see if there's anyone. Okay, there's no one. Okay, because so with that being said, this has been another episode of Uncommon Sense with Hossein Negron saying good night, take care, stay blessed, and peace.